Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. Another Friday, another month.
Yeah.
End of April this time. How are you doing, guys, this month?
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
It's been a busy one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know where time's going, honestly.
No.
Yeah, we are joined today by the real Matt Brailsford, not AI Matt Brailsford, not automated Matt Brailsford. How are you, Matt? How are the things are going on your end?
Yeah,
recently?
pretty good. As I'm here to talk about Umbraco.AI, yes, I've been just having tons of fun working on that. So
yeah,
it's been good.
I want to know how many tokens you're burning a month at the moment.
Yeah, I think between me and Phil, we're the only people in HQ at the moment that can get to the end of your allotted amount. So pretty good.
I was going to ask how many cloud sessions are you having now opened behind the scenes, just doing the work for you. Probably also a couple, right? But that's the recent reality. And of course, yeah, as you've mentioned, we'll be talking about AI this time. The theme of this episode is around that, because there was a lot of AI-related topics and things being captured recently. And we've been talking about it, Callum, last month already. And maybe we can start from this one, because it was about the community team and the advisory board for AI. And yeah, the teams are there. Did you already have some?
Yeah, so at the start of this week, Monday, we had our team kickoff for the umbraCo.AI community team, and the focus there is really on building tools, skills to make the experience for developers, primarily working with Umbraco in their tool of choice, but I think primarily Claude as well at the minute, to get more out of Umbraco, because we know that these LLMs are generalists, and even the coding specific ones don't know much about Umbraco, and actually reality is they don't know much about .NET either. They still are far more Python leaning or JavaScript leaning. So yeah, it's basically a year-long challenge. How can we as a team make the experience for developers better when you're building with Umbraco, and including like agentic systems? So could you get your army of agents to go away and build an Umbraco website? And how does the team shape that experience? Maybe bring some opinions and best practice in. It's an exciting opportunity, but still kind of defining what that looks like. But yeah, I'm really, really excited.
Yeah, nice. And Matt, you've mentioned Phil and you as an AI army in Umbraco at the moment. So how the things are going in Umbraco internally around AI? What's the preferred tool of choice, and what are you doing with it?
I think we're all fully in with Claude. I think many of the models are kind of much of a muchness, but I think Claude is slightly leading the pack in terms of features in Claude. Like what we're seeing is mostly other competitors copying stuff from Claude. So it's like, I think it's really the tooling that they've got that is their win at the moment, which who knows, might not stay that way, but right now it is. And I think just investing in one and getting good at that one tool is probably more beneficial than trying to jump between different models. But yeah, that's what we're using.
Yeah, it's a fascinating question, isn't it? We've been having the same debate internally. Like you kind of have to bet on a platform and run with it. And it does seem like, Anthropic are the ones really pushing the kind of early experimental stuff. If you look history over the last, say, 18 months, MCP came out of Anthropic and then became like an open standard, and then they've built their own subset on top of that again for like calling tools. And then skills or agent skills also came out of Anthropic in October. And then there's Codex skills now and whatever. And I think GitHub Copilot also speaks Claude because they have Claude models, but so it can run Claude skills, but it can also run Codex skills, which is weird. But it's a fascinating debate, isn't it? Like which platform's going to win. I spoke to somebody in the community, not necessarily the Umbraco community, but Umbraco adjacent in the last few weeks, who said he at work he uses Devin, which is like an agentic software development platform, and he is delivering like 10 times the output, but also burning through about $500 worth of tokens a day. And he's working as a maintainer on an open source project primarily. And he said it's fascinating. Like he's just an orchestrator for these agents now, which is quite mind-blowing to think that, you know, in the space of 2 years, we could go from someone struggling to get a JetBrains license approved to like, yeah, fine, $500 a day, and great, you can do 10 times as much work. The other side to that is he said he struggles to switch off now because there's no like natural, I finish that task, move on. It's just a constant stream of work and tasks and prompting. And whilst that initial kickoff of a prompt to say, hey, agent, go work on this task or investigate this thing might be super lightweight or not too taxing, you then get dragged into it, and it's very difficult to switch off. So we're going to see a big shift, I think, in the coming months and years. Yeah,
and I'd agree with that, and it can be very tiring because you're always in like a deep mental state with them all, because you're always thinking about everything. You don't get that right now I'm going into a coding phase where it's just like easygoing implementation. It's just you've always got to be on the ball, always reviewing specifications, always thinking deeply on them, which can be quite tiring. And then equally, a lot of features now. So we use because we use Claude, there's also a Claude on the web, which allows you to fire off processes like on the go, which is good for when you're like on a train and like Wi-Fi is really bad, but at the same time it's another reason not to switch off, because you can just be on your phone watching TV, have an idea, and just kick off Claude to kind of go do something. So for sure.
I had this challenge as well, because I was trying multiple times to go into the deep work state, and how you can get into deep work state if someone else is in their deep work state. So you're kind of waiting for things and switching context multiply again, sometimes even more than in the past. And that's but again, the challenges are changing, and we've been talking even before going live that it's like a different reality now. We're orchestrating agents or distributing tasks, and delegation capabilities are becoming more important rather than execution skills sometimes, right? Because you need to tell agents now how to do work efficiently, and I at least observed from myself that it increased my kind of communication skills, because I do need to be more explicit in general, right? And now it also distributes to humans from my point of view.
I'd agree, but the thing I've noticed very obviously in the last, say, 3 months is my spelling has become atrocious. I've become really sloppy with my typing because it just works it out. Whereas like before, if I typed gobbledygook to a colleague on Slack, they'd go, what are you on about? I don't understand. But it just works. So I've become really sloppy with my typing and spelling, which is an interesting side effect.
But that's it. I just still use autocorrect in front of the models too. I'm this type of the guy.
Are you a please and thank you person?
Of course, all the time. All the time. That's the routine.
And I'm also like a sorry my bad type person when it starts going down wrong routes. Sorry.
But then I have a feeling in my head that then I burned tokens with me being too polite today.
There was that thing, I think it was Sam Altman that came out and said it was like every time people say thank you, it's like adding X billion to our compute costs each year or something.
Sustainability hurts by us being too polite. But then this week we also noticed that this AI in Umbraco, which is umbraCo.AI, the whole extension set provider agnostic AI integration layer, got also a nice documentation. So now it's not a set of extensions, materials, which were always awesome. And Matt, you've been posting all the time on your blog, which we'll of course link up as well here. But the documentation is here, and everyone can start and explore what's possible, what's not possible, and you've been blogging all the time as well about that. Can you summarize the efforts from starting the prototypes and fun to now having a fixed part of the software ready to be extended and used?
God, there's a lot that's happened in that short period of time. So it's very much been an exercise of like AI assisted development. So a lot of this has been done through the use of Claude. Like essentially this whole project started just before Christmas. So to get to where it is now in that short period of time is kind of crazy in itself.
And to be clear, it was released February 4th.
Yeah. So quite a lot managed to get done in such a short period of time. But yeah, it's been a lot of effort in terms of staying on top of all of that, architecting and planning all of that. As you rightfully identified in your original video, Callum, like it's very much aiming to be a framework. It's not just here's prompts, here's Copilot, go away and work. There's a lot that's gone into it to architect it to be something that people can build on top of.
I love how it's pick and choose. So like if I want Copilot, you can have Copilot. If that's the kind of experience your users want, great. But you don't have to give them Copilot if that's not the primary interface they want. And if it's literally just inline hints or ways of generating stuff like with prompts, fantastic. Or search, as you're going to, I guess, maybe show us in a bit. I love the pick and choose model, and with multiple providers as well. It just makes a lot of sense. I think I said this in my video in February, people have overlooked the fact that this is a way of managing AI integrations in the CMS, and it just happens that you're building some integrations on the top. But like, if you want to just run AI in your own project and have a way of managing the connection and a nice abstraction to use, then this is the way to go. So yeah, I'm a big fan.
Yep, and hopefully the docs kind of show what's gone into that then, given you can see all the patterns and all the concepts and all the different things that are under the hood.
But also on Tuesday you've blogged about what you've gained building this whole project from the extensions and the Microsoft Agent Framework. And Callum, you've mentioned about the agents in general. That's a nice piece of summary of the whole foundation and extensions, and how also the learning curve is also increasing the general understanding of the software and how the software works internally, because the agents are seeing usually more than we just see when we do the work, right? So that's interesting. But we have a time. We have you, so maybe you can show us some of that from an overview perspective to summarize this effort. You can try to share the screens, and I will move mine. It's here. Yep.
If I look up, it's because my second monitor is above my other one, so I'm looking at the right screen. So yeah, I think there's three things that we've probably been working on fairly recently that I think are quite nice additions from like keynote time, if everybody watched like the winter keynote. So we're obviously making steady improvements as we go along. And I think three interesting ones. First one is probably search. Again, looking back at your video, Callum, when we launched it, you rightfully identified that the search tool that was in the Copilot was based around Examine, which seems kind of odd, and it is. I think it's got its uses for some scenarios, but definitely when it comes to AI, semantic or like vector-based searching is really what we wanted to implement, and would set the foundations. Like the embeddings are a feature within like Microsoft extensions.ai, so we knew it was definitely there. We just had to get around to kind of implementing that. So that's ultimately what we've got implemented. So now when we have profiles, we can define embeddings ones. So anybody that doesn't know embeddings, it's basically that's the mechanism for creating vectors, which can be quite complex, but it's all about finding semantics in content and then creating vectors, which are like coordinates to similarities, and then you can compare those vectors. So that's what your embeddings are needed for. But now we can define profiles as being embedding profiles. We've got a setting similar that just says, right, use this as our default embeddings profile. And then from a search perspective, aiming very much more to be a bit more future-proof. So the new CMS search implementation that Ken's been working on and demoing quite a lot, we basically use that. So built on top of that to have an embeddings feature, and it just works exactly like Umbraco search. And so you could query this as well. Like this isn't just for AI purposes. This is fully kind of semantic searching. So like searching for YouTube or not. Let me rebuild my index. Always demo gods. But yeah, This should, in theory, kind of find more similarity stuff. So based on the fact that I've said YouTube, will also find kind of more video-based content. Second time, there you go. Yeah, so we've got, it's finding stuff that's on a similar level, not just looking for the YouTube keyword, which is only how Examine would work. It would only work that way. And so with that, we've also implemented like a tool within Copilot. So for example, we could be looking at a post, and in here we can say like find similar content to this page, and then that'll be able to use the semantic search, and so you can see it's using the right one, and it'll find other things that are relative and related. This is obviously a very specific query, but again, the more that you talk to LLM, it can make a choice. Is it going to try and find something depending on your discussion point? This is just very specific to try and demo it. But yeah, it can choose to use that tool when it wants to find other things within the CMS, which will help with navigation and moving around and finding various other bits.
And presumably, because this is based on the UMbraCo.AI, the Umbraco search abstraction, like I could use this on the front end.
Exactly.
So if I want more semantic search on my website, then this is available kind of out of the box.
Yeah, and it's baked straight on top of umbraCo.AI, so you can see potentially like all in the logs. We should be able to see kind of all the like requests, and I think here's like all the embeddings ones, so you can see what's getting kind of done and track all of that and whatnot.
And is the precision controlled somewhere as well? Because, well, funnily enough, we had an opposite issue recently with one of the AI vector search implementations, where we had too many results because the queries were far beyond the relation that was expected. Is that something what is already controlled, or
we've got a few things? I guess in the embeddings we can kind of track the dimensions. We've also in the back, like behind the scenes, there's chunking involved because we can only send so much to an embeddings endpoint to be like indexed or vectorized. There's a bit of overlap. You can swap that out. So we've got like via dependency injection, you can swap out like the chunking mechanism if you want a different approach. So again, even if there's not UI overrides for some things, we've potentially got back-end stuff that allows you to swap out implementation details as well.
Another option, I think I covered this in my video in February as well, but don't sleep on Microsoft's AI Foundry, because the AI Foundry is really good if you want to deploy AI into an organization and want control. So all the things you're talking about there, Marcin, you can control directly when you deploy the model. So for those that don't know, AI Foundry is Microsoft's control plane for AI, lets you deploy basically any model straight into Azure, but then also control how it's accessed. So you can enforce hard token limits at an API level. You can enforce, stop words, base prompts, all kinds of stuff. And a hell of a lot more control than you maybe even expect Umbraco would want to give you. So
we did land with the editor, swipe to control this. So it was like exactly resolving the problem. But in general, that's something what we were caught in, because you expected us to be smarter and smart enough to help. In reality, it was hurting the results at the end of the day. So still needs to be curated, still needs to be tested a lot.
Yeah.
So that's.
And again, from our perspective, this is like the first pass at it as well. And obviously our initial focus is improving like the Copilot and the searching with UMbraCo.AI. But by all means, we want people to be able to use this on the front end and stuff like that, and then report back of like what their needs actually are. And then we can definitely kind of improve this, add more settings to the UI or whatever makes sense to do. So
very cool. Very nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Second?
Yeah, second.
Sure. So I think one of the nice next things that we've got is upload support as well. So like within Copilot now, we can upload things and it is kind of aware of what these things are. So tell me about this image. and it can see it, figure out what's in it, and be like contextually kind of relevant to what's there. It can handle like images are probably natively supported in most LLMs, but we have like other abilities as well. So we can like have PDFs. So now this, and this is, we've got a custom middleware pipeline. So anything that can't be handled natively, we have a middleware pipeline that is capable of taking files, extracting content, and then that gets sent to the LLM, which can then be processed. So if there's specific file types that would never be handled by kind of LLMs directly, we can have a process or a tool or a utility that is capable of processing, extracting, and then that can be fed to the LLM to do whatever it needs to do. Cool. And again, this is all at the API level as well. So obviously I show you from a Copilot perspective because it's the nice kind of looking version of it. But from a framework perspective, all of this is available for anybody as well. So if you're using the APIs and you're building something on top of UmbraCo.AI and you need the ability to post like media files, then it goes through the same pipeline and you can have the same kind of process trigger as well.
That's really smart. Nice. So you use that for all kinds of things, like, I don't know, building a recruitment website, screen a CV on upload, or for, you know, safety checking, sure that it is what someone claims it is. Or
exactly. And I guess like the interesting one, if you saw my recent post in terms of 17.4 is like the big deal for UmbraCo.AI, because this is when schemas come in for properties, which is really the thing that's holding back being able to kind of create content in Copilot and stuff. But I'm sure at that point, that's when you'll be able to be doing, I'm sure people will be doing things like, here's a screenshot or picture of like what I'm trying to create, and allow it to kind of put things together. Yeah, that'll be really interesting to see how all these things can kind of work together and orchestrate that kind of workflow, hopefully.
This is white paper I downloaded, right? Something similar.
Yeah.
Do not break the policies.
So another thing you might have spotted in this bit is also here, which is
small microphone,
a little microphone. So we've now also got speech to text support, which again is another thing that can be used from a framework level perspective. So if you want, one of my demos that I'm planning for CodeCabin is going to use this from an API perspective of being able to upload MP3s and get transcriptions from those. But here we've also got the example of being able to kind of record or dictate straight into instead of typing. So I'll try it, but what I've not tried so far is being recorded whilst trying to do a speech to text. So
perfect time to test it now.
Yeah. So say hello from umbraCoffee. Oh, I failed. So it can't get access to my microphone while I'm doing a recording at the same time. But trust me, it does work. Essentially, you can record. Once you stop, it basically sends it off to be transcribed, returns, and puts the text into the prompt. And we've got a very similar thing as well. So we've added similar implementation for, let me find one that's got a rich text. Yeah, so we've got a TipTap integration as well. So if you wanted to like dictate straight into TipTap editor, you can start the recorder and it'll record what you're saying and transcribe it and drop it straight into TipTap for you to be re-edited.
So back in the day when I was playing with a similar Umbraco Copilot type concept, I also did audio, and audio is way more challenging than you'd think. And it's interesting to see you've taken a very similar approach to what I did, which is record the audio, upload the MP3, fire that off, because it's not quite the native experience that, say, ChatGPT voice mode gives you, which is streaming the audio in real time and transcribing in real time. But well, firstly, I think Microsoft SDK doesn't support that currently, streaming audio. But secondly, the support across models and their APIs to do that is super limited.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
I think probably OpenAI is usually the only one that supports that level of kind of streaming real-time thing, which we can always look at and address when things become available. But that is probably pretty cutting edge this works pretty nicely and works across multiple LLMs. So
yeah, that's awesome. The other thing I had, which I'd love to see in Umbraco at some point, was a kind of I can't remember what I called it, but like a summon mode where you could press and hold, I think, on the Copilot button, and it would start an audio thing, and you could then do a request, and it would say pop up something when it found when it had a response. So you don't always have to constantly jump between that panel. But yeah, I think there's potential for voice, not just in Umbraco, in applications in general.
Everywhere. I think again, I mean, like all the young people now, the voice messages, all the other stuff. That's something what I'm heavily resilient to still. But I see a lot of friends who are developing things and working with Claude and agents like that because they are just prefer to speak instead of typing. So yeah, I see it more and more popular, but I think this type of extension, like Callum mentioned, like a Clippy flying around or button, which you can always there was a Clippy, right, extension for Umbraco at some point.
Someone
maybe Clip with record button.
Nice. But as well, for the from a framework perspective, we also have like front end lit components as well. So we've got an audio recorder, so it can handle the recording and just fire state events, and we've also got then a audio transcription controller that again you can just call, give it the audio, it automatically runs against the default profile and returns text. So again, if you want to build those types of integrations of pressing a button, record, transcribe, all the components are there to kind of build on top of.
So I was going to ask, you mentioned about schemas being for property types, essentially. So that allows the Copilot to effectively understand what the data structure looks like and understand where it should drop its data. Hence why the rich text editor, which is a more complex JSON-based editor, previously didn't work so well. Totally makes sense. So that's an example of something being added directly into the CMS to improve the AI Copilot. Something like your voice recorder component. What's the plan with those sorts of things? Do they live as part of umbraCo.AI, or is the goal to try and use as little custom interface in that as possible and have extension points and components that ship in the core and another library that can depend on without all the AI stuff?
I don't think we've thought that far in terms of, like, to me at the moment, this is very much an umbraCo.AI feature. Like, I'm not sure what that would give from a general CMS perspective of just being able to like record something. So in theory you could, but I guess it's what makes sense to push back into CMS. And like, I think the schema stuff was very obvious because it wasn't just an umbraCo.AI problem, it's an MCP problem. Like, if you see people, like the general guidance on MCP at the moment, and in the instructions, it generally says find an example page to copy because it needs an example of the values to understand what it should be generating. And that's because we haven't got schema support. We don't know what values are meant to look like. So the only option at the moment is to look for an example, copy it, and hope that it can figure out what to change on that. So yeah.
Nice. I mean, the other thing that I think has been done very well with the umbraCo.AI is that it is standalone. So it's not like there's bits of the CMS that are there but not working, or it's paired back. Like, it is entirely on top of the CMS. So if people don't want AI and for regulatory reasons or ethical or whatever, they don't have to have it, and that's good. So yeah, not too much spilling back would be a good thing, I think.
But I also think that's a testament to the CMS, and especially like V14 of like the extension points are all there. I think the only one that I'm working on getting into CMS at the moment is the draw concept. Like this at the moment, this draw is a little bit hacky, and I think you identified, like, if you open a dialogue, it opens over the top, which it shouldn't do. We need the ability for that to stay open and modals be kind of offset. So that's something that needs to get back into CMS because that's like built on the extension point. But yeah, like, I think anything that makes sense to go back in CMS, we definitely have like discussions with the team and say, like, I think this would be good to be part of it. Because So there's been a few features that have been like that.
Nice. I've seen that the community's also been quite busy building some stuff on top of the umbraCo.AI extensions, which really excites me because it is a framework fundamentally. Like you shouldn't be the only ones building on top of it. Marcin, we were talking earlier that Adam from Cogworks has vibe coded a kind of agent runner directly in the CMS, also using umbraCo.AI, which is like amazing. And he had a great concept there. We'll try and get him on one day to talk about it. He had a concept where you could, with different steps in the task, you could associate to different profiles and different models in umbraCo.AI, so that you could control cost. Like, this is a high value task, or it's a one I don't really care so much about. Like, you can run it on different LLMs, which I think was, again, fascinating. And there's been a few others as well. I know there's going to be an awards category at CodeCABIN, isn't there, for some umbraCo.AI based extensions, is my understanding too. So excited to see what people do.
It's really exciting at the moment because there's been a lot of push as well for some umbraCo.AI related hackathons. And that's not necessarily, it has to be umbraCo.AI that you're working on, just working with AI around Umbraco. But it's been nice to see people jumping on top of umbraCo.AI, understanding that it's the framework. And like, particularly at Spark, when they had the package jam, package competition thing, and just seeing some examples of stuff that people were able to build into, like the log analyzer and some really cool packages that came out of it.
The AI context on your logs, isn't it? It was cool. I'm excited to see people finally moving beyond generating SEO metadata or alt text as the AI example. Like, actually, we're getting a bit of creativity back in the community.
Or image processing, recognition stuff, right? So but this is needs to come from people who are using it effectively, and also amongst the clients and editors, it's becoming kind of finally more present. So definitely more to come from their experiences, and if they will have easier UI, as it was with ChatGPT, if they will have the easier access to tools and UI from CMS and from the tools they use, they will come up with the ideas, and those will be interesting ones to explore. And there is a category, best innovation with AI. I just checked quickly, so that's going to be interesting to see what the inventions are and innovations are. That's cool. Was there a third example, Matt, or was it all?
Yeah, I can show one last one.
Leave something for Code Garden and the rest.
Is that sharing again?
I'm just adding it to stage.
So there's only one little last one, and again, this was another one that Callum identified, that prompts didn't work very well with TipTap in the first release, but now they do. So we've got true drop-in like ability to run prompts again within TipTap, and because it's a TipTap button in this instance, then it's also got access to like the selected text. So for example, we can select some text, ask it to simplify and insert and just replace like the text that was there. Nice. So that, I think that'll be really nice for
and those actions are prompts behind the configuration, right?
So this is in our prompts, we've got simplify. So we've now got at the bottom of here, we've got a display mode. So it's either property action, which is like one of those menus here, or within TipTap. And then we've got a special selection keyword that we can see like the actual selection. And then really your availability, we just point it to TipTap editors. And then, it runs the prompt as it does before. And you can do the same thing of like having multiple options if you wanted to choose from multiple outputs. So same prompt system, we just got it integrated. The only thing you have to do as well is within your data types, in your rich text, you have to assign these new buttons. So they don't automatically appear. You have to add the buttons to your TipTap configuration, but that's pretty standard for TipTap.
I didn't know about those, like the placeholder variable things you could put in prompts until your very nice blog post. You've basically been going through all of the different features on your blog, haven't you?
And I think this was prior to like the docs weren't. We hadn't got around to releasing the docs yet, and like quite a few questions kept popping up. So like I've done quite a few recently, which are like the prompt syntax. So like that covers like quite a lot, because I think a key one on here is as well is there's a special syntax for image content. So we have like an image prefix, which forces it to embed the actual bytes of the image for it to get processed. But all of this does get onto the doc site now. But yeah, I've just been going through some of the cool things that have been released recently. So like you say, search, file uploads, details are there as well. So if people want to find out more, they can see some more on there.
Very nice, very cool. Well, yeah, we'll make sure there's a link below for all of that. But
cool,
exciting, great work, great work.
Great work. Keep it coming.
Well, aren't you? You said you're preparing some demos and talk for CodeCabin.
Yeah, so my talk for CodeCabin is trying to be a bit more technical, to jump on the fact that it's a toolkit to build on top of. It's not a case of clicking through prompts and clicking through like Copilot. They're good examples of using it, but I think my CodeCabin talk is going to be more about how you would build something with it. So yeah, won't give too much away, but just trying to build up some nice examples of that.
Look forward to it. Awesome.
Yeah. If we're speaking about CodeCabin, we can also mention those awards things, because I have it opened. So there's a whole set of nominees already announced, and in not only AI category, but of course the other ones as well, with some links to projects already to explore and see what is coming. And yeah, this AI innovation might be also interesting to explore, and I'm sure that more people will bring more ideas to the table, even outside of the nominations from the awards. So and MVP time as well will give some outputs to share whenever we'll be talking about. And yeah, just quickly maybe to run through a couple of other links, and we can then wrap up. We had the script issue, and one interesting thing that I noticed recently was also the PostgreSQL support for Umbraco, because there was a lot of talks that I have attended in the past about powers of Postgres and all the things that are cool to be done on this type of database, and I'm curious about exploring them maybe further right now. If we'll have, I'm sure also that Umbraco and CMS itself will gain more feedback and interesting things as an update to the database structure back, thanks to those things. Have you been playing with that already a little bit, or not yet?
I have not, but I've been battling Umbraco's data layer a little bit in the last month, and compatibility issues with SQLite and things. So the idea of another database provider doesn't thrill me, to be honest.
No. that's probably the painful point.
Then that's all good.
Not that scary anymore, right? No.
Definitely the painful point at the moment, especially given the track moving towards EF-core, where all migrations are like explicit, whereas I think on like older versions of Umbraco there was the abstraction layer which handled all of the different database syntaxes itself, but yeah, now you have to write all the SQL migrations manually, so every database means duplicating all the migrations, which is fun.
And there's still some very basic level, like create this table or set this value, but I learned that recently they do different things depending on like whether it's SQLite or not, and raised a couple PRs to fix that. But
fortunately we have agents now, and someone who understands SQL a little bit better, or have a knowledge access to documentation, not only our memory from studies and things like that. So but the events also are something that we wanted to just highlight, because there's still plenty of opportunities to look on everything Umbraco before CodeCabin. Of course, there's a set of online meetups with explorations around AI as well. Even this month, even next month, this month was also happening, a lot of them, and we have something that you've announced and the foundation announced, a refreshed look on the UK conference. Can you tell us more about it?
Fest, as I keep calling it internally, UK Not Fest. We're trying to ditch the name festival. Not people can keep calling it festival, but the idea here is we want to make an event that is open and welcoming to the whole community, so developers, creatives, and also the partner ecosystem, where we'll have 3 tracks with talks that there's something for everyone there. And so we felt that it's time maybe that the name festival, which is not that approachable or understandable for people outside, is moved on. So we've gone with the incredibly imaginative Umbraco UK conference. Honestly, we spent over a year trying to find a better name.
Yeah.
So you can call it UK 26. That's what I've been calling it as well. Nice colloquial thing. But what I will say is tickets are on sale. There's a super early bird price, another week left of that, and then it goes up, I think, 25 quid. Call for speakers opens next Friday. That's exciting, and we're going to have that running for 2 months. We're going to have over 25 talks, so we really want to hear from you.
Nice.
And the first time ever, I've pulled some strings at HQ, and if you're a partner, gold partner or platinum, gold or platinum, you can buy tickets on credits. So you can buy a combined partner summit, which is the day before in London, combined partner summit and conference ticket for a reduced price as well on credits, which is awesome. So there's not really any excuse not to come. Go buy your tickets. We'll make sure there's a link below for that as well. But we want to see as many people as possible there. We've kind of feeling re-energized. There's a team of us working behind this alongside the new Umbraco Foundation ambassadors that were announced at Spark as well. We've got 6 people all around the UK that are helping us, and they're our sounding board for all things that we're trying to do. So support us if you can, and hope to see you there in October. It's going to be exciting. Feels really weird to talk about it 6 months out, but
not weird. It's
it'll be here before you know it.
Yeah,
exactly. And Matt, you've mentioned already some plans for you prior to Code Garden, hacking things around. Anything else exciting? Are you planning to visit any other events, speak on any other meetups or anything like that?
I don't know. This is the problem. The world is just moving so fast for me right now. I don't really know anything beyond 4 weeks. So yeah, my goal right now is Code Garden. Make sure I get good demos for that. But I'll be attending some kind of online sessions, I think, getting some UMbraCo.AI out there. But yeah, post CG, we'll see what the event space is looking like and see what makes sense to come along to.
Is there looking for local AI enthusiasts as well up your way?
Yeah, only because I work with Phil, and Phil's in Manchester, and they've got quite a nice AI scene.
Yeah,
but I
practically AI meetup every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Really good. Just
I was going to ask what's the call to action, and what is the question that we can leave people who are watching us with? Are you looking for some ideas, help, people to spare ideas with, and anything like that?
Maybe it'll end up needing to be an online thing. But yeah, the Manchester one's really good and get some really good content. It's just a really pain for me to get to. It's not that easy. So I was just seeing if there's anything local, but if not, maybe we'll do something online.
Very good.
Sounds like a good idea. Cool. So Matt, thank you very much for your time, for your demos, and for your hard work recently. And we're always looking forward to more of those crazy ideas being materialized. So we'll be definitely mentioning them and sharing. And we'll be counting down to other demos and those great stuff that will be demoed on Code Garden. Not that far away in time already. And that's probably all for this month's umbraCoffee. So thank you very much. Thank you everyone for watching us live today. And we'll speak and we'll see each other next month. Not that soon. Very soon.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks, everyone.